Hey, what's up guys? Today we are going to be looking at the song Here's to the One by Hillsong United. It's a song I just mentioned in my last video of my top 5 favorite songs I've introduced in 2019. And I thought it would be interesting to see how you would approach this song acoustically. What do you do when you don't have an entire band to back you up and backing tracks to cover all those synth sounds and electric guitar tracks, and it's just you and one instrument? Well, I'm going to show you kind of how I approach it with just my acoustic guitar, how I use just this guy to cover a lot of ground. So let's get into it. So as you can see, I have the Capo at fret 2, and I'm going to be playing in the G position. So that means that I'm playing the song in the key of A. Usually I play the song in the key of B, but I'm showing you A because if it's a more intimate setting, say if there's only 10, 20, 30 people, you might want to lower the key a little bit so it's easier to reach for people. If it's an acoustic vibe, but it's a huge auditorium or venue or whatever it is, then yeah, you could go up to the key of B and you'd probably be fine. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you the key of A. So for the intro, what I do is I play the progression, which is the 6-5-4-1 progression, but I do it very softly. And I mainly focus on the higher strings as I'm strumming. So it kind of sounds like this. So that would be the intro. Getting into the verse, I kind of keep that same vibe going all the way up until I get to the instrumental between verse 1 and verse 2. So verse 1 would go something like this. Set my heart alight. So that was verse 1 plus the instrumental after it. One thing I wanted to point out is when I'm looping the 6-5-4-1 progression, when I hit the 6 or the minor, the F sharp, I kind of pause a little bit and let that chord ring out. It kind of gives it a little bit of room to breathe, because if you're strumming like I am, if you just strum constantly through the entire song, it's going to get kind of monotonous. So it's one place within the music that you can kind of take a break. And it sounds nice and it lends to the rhythm and the feel of the song. So it kind of goes like this. Overemphasizing it just to show you where it is, but that's kind of the feel that I have when I'm doing like the intro and the verse maybe, and even the chorus. I kind of put that little pause in there just to kind of show the people where the progression is restarting. It kind of gives it some breathing room, like I said, and it really helps the feel of the song, because again, you don't have rhythm, you don't have bass, like there's nothing supporting the feel of the song, so you got to cover it all on acoustic. So after that first instrumental, I go into verse 2, and for that I kind of have a more palm muted, chunkier feel to my strumming. It kind of sounds like this. Here's to the one who made my heart to sing, opened up my eyes, washed away my sin. Here's to that is kind of verse 2. I kind of give it a more chunkier vibe. It's different than the first verse, which is kind of... And then verse 2. So again, that's, in case you're just starting out on guitar, I get that sound by kind of placing my lower palm on the very bottom, right above the bridge on the strings. Not to the point where it completely mutes it, but just enough to let the strings resonate and you can still hear the notes. Kind of gives it that chunkier vibe. So I do that for verse 2, and then as you heard, I build into the first chorus. So let me play a chorus for you. It sounds like this. Verse 3. So that was the chorus. Then there is verse 3, which I model a lot like verse 2, with kind of that chunkier palm muted vibe. And then goes into a chorus once, another instrumental, which I've already shown you, which is basically the instrumental after the first verse. And then it goes into the bridge. Now for the bridge, just like the album version, I stay on the 1 for the first bridge that I sing. So it kind of sounds like this, coming out of the instrumental. Bridge. So you can see for the first half of the bridge, I'm just kind of holding that 1, but I do put in a sus chord in between the lyrics. So whenever I'm not singing, I kind of throw that sus in between, and it kind of gives it some flavor and some movement, because again, you don't have any instruments to kind of carry the music, so you have to create that with your instrument. In this case, it's an acoustic guitar. So that's kind of what I do for that first half of the bridge. So again, it kind of sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Here's to your kindness. Here's to your goodness. Here's to your freedom. Here's to the day I see you, Jesus. Here's to... And then going into the second half, I do that palm muted vibe again that I used on verse 2 and verse 3. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Here's to your glory. Here's to your greatness. Here's to your kingdom. And then for that last part, going into the final chorus, I actually use all down strums to kind of build it. It's a little bit intense, but this is kind of what it sounds like, and it's just something that I like doing, because when it's just me and an acoustic guitar, I like to go a little crazy. But so it sounds like this. I'm going to play the second half of the bridge and then the build going into the chorus. So 1, 2, 3. Here's to your glory. Here's to your greatness. Here's to your kingdom. Here's to the name of Jesus. So you can kind of see what I was talking about there at the end of the bridge, building it into that final chorus. It's a little bit intense. You don't have to do it, but it's just something that in the moment, I just really feel it, and it feels good to play it, and it makes sense for me because it's probably like the kind of the pinnacle of the song musically right there is that build. You know, you're getting into the final choruses. You can just play the bridge a few times, and it's like it's building and building and building. The energy is building. The lyrics are building. So to me, it makes sense to kind of do this kind of crazy down-strumming build going into the final choruses musically. So, and then from there, it's just 2 choruses back to back, and then I usually put in an outro as well, just like an instrumental outro, and then I end it, and that's pretty much it. When I'm playing by myself on an acoustic, I usually make the ending pretty dramatic. I like to do that just to show the people that the song has ended, because without all the music, it's hard for the church sometimes to know when a song has ended. And sometimes your congregation wants to give some glory to God and clap their hands, but they don't know when to do it. So I like to kind of like give them a cue as to when the song has ended. So the outro would kind of sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think there's anything wrong with making an ending obvious, and it just, again, helps the people to know when the end of the song is, and no one's lost, everyone's on the same page. If they want to clap and give some glory to God at the end of the song, they know when to, because you have made it obvious. So I like to do that whenever I'm playing acoustic. Obviously, I don't make the ending of every song super obvious and dramatic like that, but just on the faster songs, that's usually what I do. But that's how I play Here's to the One on an acoustic guitar. So I hope this helps you guys. Are there any other songs that you guys would like me to show you how I play an acoustic guitar? Leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. Are there any tips that you can give worship leaders on the things that you do when you're using just a single instrument? Just some different tips that you guys can share. Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.